Hey all, my name is Paul Borosky, and I am the owner of Quality Business Plan. And what I'd like to do today is introduce y'all to some tips and tricks on how to write a handyman business plan. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right into this wonderful little PowerPoint presentation that I have concocted for your listening and viewing pleasure. All right, first and foremost, a little bit about me, then we'll talk about you. From my experience, I am a professional business plan writer. I am a professional writer in general. So if you want to avoid the fun and excitement of writing your own business plan, specifically for the handyman business, make sure to give me a call, send me an email, send me a text. I'd be absolutely delighted to take that pleasure and writing experience from you, place it on me, and write you up a fantastic handy-dandy handyman business plan. Also, I am a professional. I am a published author. I do have a lot of books on Amazon.com. So if you mosey on over to Amazon.com, Google or search my name, Paul Borosky, throw an MBA behind that. And if you want to go ahead and write your own business plan, make sure to pick up one of my guides, one of my books on how to write a business plan. And finally, the experience. I do have plenty of experience in writing business plans in finance and in business in general. Specifically, I am an adjunct professor, and I'm also a subject matter expert in business and finance. So I do know my stuff, and if you do want some financial projections, you've got a fantastic business plan already written. You need some numbers to support your thoughts and ideas. Again, don't hesitate to give me a call, send me a text. Be delighted to do that for you. So enough about me. Let's talk about you. Let's talk about your business, your handyman service. So tip number one for doing a handyman business. When I review handyman businesses from companies all over the country, pretty much all over the world, and people are sending me their business plans for the handyman service. They want me to make edits. They want to make some changes, and they're looking for my thoughts and ideas. In general, organizations for handyman services, they do a fantastic job with the customer service, and they do a fantastic job describing the types of services they're going to be offering, whether they're going to be a specialist, they're going to be doing trim, or they're going to be doing framing, or they're going to be doing tile, or they're a generalist where they specialize in honeydew lists. Honeydew this, honeydew that, honeydew something else. What I see, though, for a company description where a lot of information is lacking is the strategic advantages of their home office or their actual business office as compared to their service area. I know when I had my handyman service, I would always do advertising in my neighborhood or in my town or in the towns closest to me. And the reason for that is, I would wake up, grab a cup of coffee, grab something to eat, mosey on into the garage, load up my truck, and then boom, I could be at my first appointment within 5 minutes to 15 minutes because I target my audience at a close geographic location. However, and when I write a business plan, I would go ahead and document. That's why that's my target market, and that's why I do what I do. And so now we've got an explanation for how the location of a business is going to strategically help the handyman service. Other locations, they work for builders, and their target market are builders, and their geographic location is really not relevant because they're going to drive wherever the builder needs them to go. So make sure to, when you're doing your company description, if the geographic location of your office is aligned with your target market. In other words, if you're doing a lot of business for people for your city or your town or areas close to you, and you do that for the convenience factor, make sure you document that in your business plan. Tip number two, a little bit of industry research. Just talking to a lot of handyman service business owners, what they love to do is they love to immediately start looking at their local industry, their local competition, identifying what those competitors are doing, and then seeing how they can do things better or different to differentiate from the local competitors. That's definitely a strategy to use to approach, and that's probably the most common strategy used in industry research. However, I would challenge that that's not the best way to do your industry research. From my most humble of experiences, what I like to do is I'm going to go for the national level. I'm going to get information on what's going on with the national trends from the Handyman Association or remodeling magazines. What do clients need? What do clients or what do customers want on a national level? What are some of the trends going on a national level? Once you're able to identify some of those trends, then you can go. Then you can go and you can identify local competitors, and you can see which of those local competitors have embraced the national trends, the national changes. Once you identify that one or two or three competitors that are actually on top of their game and are embracing and pushing and doing what they need to do, to stay ahead of all the other competitors. Now those are your true competitors, and those are the ones that you're going to have a hard time, or you may have a difficult time with taking market share from them. So instead of focusing on all of your local competitors, identify which ones are your true competitors, and those are usually the ones that are in line and in sync with national trends. So follow that little structure, and I think you'll be able to help you identify some of the true competitors for your soon-to-be handyman business. Tip number 3, advertising. Everybody's going to be doing advertising. From my experience, handymen do a fantastic job with their websites. They got a decent site. They're able to go ahead and explain the services that they're going to be offering. They're going to be able to expand. They're going to be able to explain their service area. They also do a great job with word of mouth advertising. After they're done with the job, do you need any other services, or do you know anybody else that could use my services? So they do a good job with that as well. One of the things that they usually fall short on, from my experience, is the social media. They do a good job with starting up their Instagram. They do a good job with doing their Facebook page, and then it sits, and it sits, and it sits, and it sits, and it sits some more. I mean, if it wasn't electronic, it'd be probably collecting dust. So when you have your social media, make sure to be utilizing it consistently and persistently. It's consistency and persistency that's going to reap dividends with your social media. When I had my handyman service, a great way for me to go ahead and stay connected with social media is doing before and after pictures. Always before and after pictures. You can do that 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times a day by doing before and after, before and after, before and after. When clients are able to see your work consistently and persistently over and over and over again, that's going to put in their mind, from my most humble of opinions, that you do consistent and persistent, high quality work. You put that with your social media, and it's going to start reaping dividends instead of collecting proverbial dust. All right, tip number 4, a little bit of money. Any company that's ever been started, that will ever be started, it needs money. If you do a lemonade stand, you're going to need the lemons, you're going to need the aids, you're going to need the cups to put the lemonade in, you're going to need a table, and you're going to need a sign. You're going to need to spend money on all of those. Even if you get those donated, somebody has spent money on that. You've got to spend money when you're going to start your business, when you're going to expand your business. Now, when you do need to go to the family member, or you do need to go to the bank for funding, make sure to have a funding request section in your business plan. So tip number 4 is the funding request. In your funding request, the way it should be structured, again, in my most humble of opinions, the first 2 sentences, you should identify a specific dollar amount that you're asking for. If you need $40,000, then put $40,000. If you need $20,000, put $20,000. Don't put a range, because that shows that you don't know how much money you need. Put a specific dollar amount within the first 2 sentences. Next, break up that dollar amount into categories. I need X amount of money for a vehicle. I need X amount of money for power tools. I need X amount of money for hand tools. Each one of those categories should then be summed up at the bottom, and that total should be the exact number that you're asking for up front. So like I said, very important to have a funding request. Make sure you have it into 2 different sections. First section is how much money you're looking for, and then the section is a broken down, categorized number for how the money is going to be spent. All right, the next is going to be a little bit of money. All right, when you're doing your financials, when you're doing your business plan, you always have a financial section. Business lenders and investors, they do want to know what kind of business you're going to be starting. They want to know what kind of services you're going to be offering. But one of the big things that they're going to want is they're going to want the climax. They're going to want to know at the end of the story, after you tell them all about the wonderful things you're going to do and where you're going to do it and how you're going to do it and how you're going to educate everybody about it. The final conclusion is, in the most part, is going to be your financial services. After you do all that hard work, what are your revenues, what are your costs, and what are your rewards or your profits? So here's a little handyman service revenue, profit and loss structure that I've created here. So for the step one here is going to be this up top portion right here. And this is going to be your revenues. And for example, you might have service calls, you might have monthly maintenance, and you're going to have other. The next thing is going to be prices. Identify how much you're going to be charging on average for a service call or a monthly maintenance and so on. Once you're done with that, identify your variable cost. Every screw that you're going to use, every nail that you're going to use, every, whatever variable cost you have that's aligned for the services you're going to be providing, come up with an average and put that here. Once you identify your variable cost, then subtract it from your average price, and that's going to give you what's called gross profits. Once you have your gross profits, then identify how many service calls or how many monthly maintenance calls or how many other are you going to do on a daily basis. You're going to then take that number, which is 3, and you're going to multiply it by your gross profits, which is then going to give you your total gross profits. Once you have your total gross profits in this section right here, it's $420. You're going to then add up all your total gross profits to $420, $38, $117, which is then going to give you your gross daily profits in this example, $575.99. Once you have that, then multiply it by how many days you plan on working in the month. In this example, it's going to be 30 days in the month, and that's going to give us a monthly gross profit of $17,279.70. Once we have our total gross profits for the month, we then need to identify what our monthly fixed costs are going to be. We might have a loan. We might have to have inventory every month. We're going to have labor, space rental, utilities, marketing, accounting, legal, insurance, and then always miscellaneous. Total up all your total monthly fixed costs and total it up at the bottom. Once you have step 1 and step 2 complete, step 3 is going to be identifying your monthly profits. In doing this, it's pretty straightforward. You're going to go ahead and title it monthly profits. Then you're going to label it monthly gross profits, and you're going to bring this number down to here. Then you're going to identify your monthly costs, and we're going to take this number, we're going to bring it here. And then for the net profits, we're just going to simply subtract our monthly costs from our gross revenue, gross profits. Excuse me. In this particular example, our net profits are going to be $8,529.70. Beautiful thing about this structure is really simple. It's really straightforward and it's understandable. But also, we can now change our prices for service calls. We can change our variable costs. We can change our monthly maintenance fees. We can change, how many customers we're going to be servicing in a daily basis. We can change any one of these. We can change any one of these variables, and it's going to immediately roll over to our net profits. And now we're all set, ready to go for the net profits. And we've got a great template from which we can go ahead and start making some changes to. Next is going to be a summary. So in summary, when you're writing your handyman business plan, make sure to follow a proven format. Don't just go out there and get some generalized, business plan template from, whatever, websites that are going to be out there. If you get a generalized template, you're going to have information that's going to be in that template that's going to be pertinent to restaurants. It's going to be pertinent to retail stores. It's going to be pertinent to manufacturers. But none of that's going to be pertinent to a handyman business. And when you're trying to figure out what information from a business plan template you need and what information you don't need, it's going to wear you out physically, emotionally, psychologically. It's going to wear on you. It's going to be difficult. You're going to spend a lot of time and energy that you don't need to be spending. So make sure if you're going to use a template, make sure to use a template that's aligned with handyman services. If you need one of those, contact me. I've got some I do sell to my clients. Next is going to be, keep the start of the show as your business. As a handyman, that's, for the most part, it's going to be a one-person business in starting, and then it grows to several people. But when you're talking about your handyman business, Make sure to talk about the business. Yes, you've been doing this for 20 years, and yes, you've been in the construction for 20 more years, and yes, you've got all kinds of wonderful degrees and experiences and so on and so forth, and that's fantastic. And that information should be included in your organization and management section of your business plan, but it shouldn't be permeating throughout the whole business plan. Make sure the star of the show is the business and not the owner. And finally, if you need help with your business plan, if you need help with editing, if you need help with your financials, please pick up the phone, give me a call, send me a text, send me an email. I would be absolutely delighted to help you with your handyman business. All right, if you're looking for some more information, you want to go ahead and write up, so you're committed to writing your own handyman business plan, you want some more information, please mosey on over to my website at qualitybusinessplan.com, how to write a handyman business plan. And on this site, I do give you some more tips and tricks and insights on how to write your business plan right here, how to write a handyman business plan. And if you want a more in-depth assistance for writing your own business plan, head over to my Amazon page, www.amazon.com/author/Paul Borosky. Once you get here, I do have several different books that are focused on writing business plans, and I'm sure one of them will hopefully best align with the needs for which you're searching. So with that said, hopefully this video was helpful and informative. If it was, give me a thumbs up on YouTube, and if you need some help, contact me. And regardless, have a fantastic, wonderful rest of the day. Thank you.